Hey guys, and welcome back to the Path to Exile Podcast, episode 30, partner with Mobalytics. I'm Kall, and joining me per usual is Miso, Shiro, and Dead Rabbit. And if you're new here, we have our audio-only format on Apple Music and Spotify. So if you don't want to watch us, you can listen to us over there. This week we have special guest Jazzarus. How's it going, man?
All is cool, brother. Thank you so much for the invite. This is cool being here with three Path of Exile 2 great players.
That one.
There's two of us are great here. I don't know about me. I'm just the Thorns turn.
Brother, you made a parry build. There is nothing I respect more than making parry work.
Dude, dude. Okay, so I love that parry build so much, and I'm sad it didn't get that many views. I get why it doesn't, because parry is like, it's not super high, but that build is my favorite build I've made in a long time. Like, I was so satisfied with it at the end of it. I was like, oh man, I can't believe this worked, and it worked well. That was a fun one. Thanks for shouting out that one. That one was a cool build, man. I'm genuinely, because that build, Jorgen and a Russian YouTuber featured, and anytime your builds get like shout outs from your peers, that's always the best feeling.
Yeah.
I really, really like that build. That build was cool.
I always remember it because I complain a lot about the parry mechanic. Like, parry sucks, it shouldn't be in the game, but I always remember, Kaltorak made it work. You can play it.
It still needs some love, definitely, for sure, but that was a fun one. How have you been joining the league, man?
I liked it a lot. 0.4 has been very good for me. I know there is a lot of controversy regarding the temple, the currency, the economy, or whatever. But I think that the druid is awesome. They added the werewolf, the white werewolf. That is everything that I needed. And on top of that, it is cool. It is fun to play. I don't know if you guys play the wolf, but the combo for the wolf is really smooth. You feel good playing it. It is fun. It has good mobility. And on top of that, I also played the bear, and it was cool. I haven't played plants that I know Rabbit played plants. I have not played plants. But the druid itself is good. And the temple is fun. Yes, it needs a little bit of love in how to set up the temple and maybe adjust the numbers and the destabilization or whatever. But I do think that the two biggest things that the league added, which are the druid and the temple, are good additions to the game. And I personally had fun.
Yeah, Miso had a very good time playing Wolf on League Star, right, Miso?
Yeah, it's a little rough, but the class itself, the archetype itself was very good. I just picked a very bad build at the beginning of the league. I swear to God, Wolves were bugged at the beginning of the league because I went back during recently Hardcore Soul Self-Hound, and I was playing some Wolf stuff on my build just because Pounce, and those Wolves were doing way more damage than I remember them doing. I swear to God, they were bugs when they first came out the gate, and then they fixed them at some point, and that's why they actually did damage.
That happened. The little wolves didn't do any damage, and they did like a hot fix or something, and the little wolves started hitting. For me, they still hit like not a lot of damage, but at least now they deal damage. They didn't used to do any damage at the start of the league. But I didn't play with the little wolves. I just played with hitting with the big wolf.
Yeah, I did some hybrid minion wolf build, so it was not good. It was not good.
Yeah,
you can run it back now.
The one time I played wolf was, well, I'm playing wolf with thorns and hardcore right now, just because wolf is really good for thorns, surprisingly. But the one time I've played wolf was in hardcore solo self-found, and I agree the combos felt good, but I was just struggling to make a good weapon. And wolf, to me, of the three shapeshifts, felt the most dependent on having a good weapon. At least in solo self-found when I played all three archetypes. So that was where my struggle came from, was just never getting a good weapon in SSF. But yeah, Wolf's really fun. I love the mobility of it. Yeah, I think they nailed Druid, or at least the shapeshifts, rather.
Yeah. And the Oracle Ascendancy, for me, is really cool. The Oracle Ascendancy has a lot of flavor, not only because of the inevitable criticals, but also the thing that works like a from nothing and the unseen paths. That is, how cool is that, dude?
Yeah, Oracle shot up for myself. My favorite Ascendancy was and always is gonna be Lich, I think, but Oracle shot up there. One eventually, or originally when it was shown, I think both me and Kaltrek both said this is such a cool Ascendancy, and I think it's gonna outlast a lot of other Ascendancies too when it comes to versatility and everything. It's just amazing. You can basically do anything on it because the Ascendancy itself doesn't really lock you into anything apart from being crit, and crit being the only thing that is like a good damage scaler as of now, or in most cases. It's perfect. You can use it on anything. And I actually, on the Entwined Realities one, the from nothing one, I've done a Spark COC Oracle now with comets and everything, because of course it's going to be comets. But I think I've used 8 keystones now on those, and actually used up 8 keystones with like 3 notables used on every single one, and it feels so good to have a character like that is that efficient, and you just feel like oh my god, I've never seen such a beautiful passive tree like that. And we said it multiple times on this podcast as well. Druid was such a home run. It might have even been able to carry the league on its own, but still, I'm very happy that they added Temple, even though like all the like you said, the controversy or whatever. We don't really care. We're gonna forget about this. We're gonna forget about Temple or how it was. I just think the Temple is a win overall. So yeah, like Jazz said, we have 2 big wins this league.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Oracle is that this is just their first pass at it. Like every patch, there could be new passives that get added, or they're reworking some of the ones that aren't getting used much. So Oracle's only going to get cooler in time. Right now, I'm still a Witch Hunter simp as my number 1, but I would put Oracle top 3 for sure. I think. Oracle is so fun.
Yeah.
It became my number 1 Ascendancy. I am sorry, Miso, real quick. It became my number 1 Ascendancy. Previous to the season, for me, like fantasy and stuff like that matters. So I thought like Druid, Oracle, it doesn't make that much sense. Oracle is like a priest or a paladin or whatever. After playing it, the Oracle is my number 1. It is really good mechanically. Okay, Miso, sorry.
No, all good. I was going to say that, Oracle's going to be really, really cool going forward. I really look forward to GGG nerfing it to the ground. It'll be great.
Oh,
It's the second
Before
most
the
played.
Blood Mage?
It is really strong.
It's the second most played
cool.
Ascendancy. It's the second most played Ascendancy right now. You think GG's going to leave it alone? I don't think so.
Okay, but real quick, is it the second most played Ascendancy if cock builds aren't? Sorry, I shouldn't mean to stop. Cast on critical builds aren't as popular.
Maybe not. Who knows? But you guys said it's the most. It's very versatile. I'm sure if it's not cast on critical,
It is very versatile.
It's still going to be very strong. And GG's gonna do that, and Jonathan's got his fun detected radar on, and he's gonna look at it, and he's gonna be like, yeah, I think that's gotta go. Is gotta go. Is donezo.
No, you go first.
Talking about the balance, and you mentioned that crit is the only viable scaler right now. I looked at the passive tree heat map on PoE Ninja for all the classes, everything at the same time. And if you slide the thing to see what people are playing the most, you will see there are 2 things that pop up like they are great outliers. One is Energy Shield, and the second one is crit. Everybody is playing critical.
Yes, every season.
Yes.
We've had that actual discussion before on this podcast where we brought up the heat map, maybe in early 0.3, and it's been that way for the longest time. Crit is just it is gonna always be the best way to scale damage currently. Like there's just nothing that you want more damage, you get crit. You want your ailments to do more, you get crit. Like all roads almost lead to crit right now, so it makes sense.
And that's why I'm saying Oracle is not the problem, I think, Miso. Oracle, I don't think is the problem. I think the problem is
The code.
Cast on critical with comment. Because in the end, Oracle is a good engine but if Cast on crit with comment wasn't so potent as it is now, I think it would look vastly different. I think the Oracle Ascendancy is fine. The problem probably just is how strong comment is in Cast on critical.
You think GGG
that
is
is
gonna
the reason. The 2 most played Ascendancies are which ones? Blood Mage and Oracle. Why are they? Because they are the best engines to get a big dick comment on faces. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that, by the way.
No,
I know Jazzarus is here, but let's slow roll. Let's slow
It
roll.
is like that. It is like that.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Right?
Yeah, I
And that's why
completely
they
agree.
are the most.
I
I don't
completely
think
agree.
the Ascendancies are the problem. What they do with it is probably the.
You don't think there's
problem,
a chance they rework Inevitable Crit? Because I think the rest of the Ascendancy is like, I think the rest of the Ascendancy is fine, but Inevitable Crit, like,
I think-
could see
I
that
I think
being
Inevitable
reworked.
Crit is amazing the way it is. I don't think they should.
You see,
It has a clear downside.
I
They
already
will destroy
see
it.
it right
They
now.
will destroy it. If they rework it, they destroy it.
I already see it right now.
Well, by rework it, I meant get something new. Like it would be completely replaced with something new. But
Comets
Exactly. No,
are going to
it is
get
too cool right now.
Comets are going to get a 20% damage nerf. Cast on crit is going to have an intern of cooldown of 0.5 seconds. Oracle Inevitable Crit is going to, every single time it rerolls the crit damage, it's going to be 50% or 30%, 40% less damage. And then Blood Mage is going to go to 12 to 13% base critical chance and 8% spell leech. I already see it right now.
The triple tap.
Yep, they're gonna hit everything. They're gonna look at the top and just boom, one by one, take down everything in classic Jonathan fashion.
It's hard to address all that at once, but the one thing I want to say about the Blood Mage thing is I'm surprised Blood Mage has not been touched this whole time. Has it been nerfed since 0-1?
Nope, it has.
It was buffed even.
Yeah, it's gotten better, right? It's gotten better because you got the free point, right? So you got the extra point. So yeah.
Well, it's not just that; they also
ignoring the
reworked
Oracle
the
stuff, the Blood
itself.
Mage stuff. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I feel like Blood Mage. Yeah, I could see Blood Mage nerfs for sure.
Funny enough, I made a video about that yesterday.
Yep. Good video too.
Oh, thank you.
I have to watch it.
It was basically yapping about how Blood Mage has not been touched for the past 3 leagues, basically, even though it has been basically at the top of the meta every single league. In fact, it's gotten buffed instead of getting nerfed. So I posed to the community, what do you guys think? Is it just that Blood Mage is too overpowered, or is it that all the other spellcasters are just garbage? I'm convinced it might be a little bit of both, of that Blood Mage is very strong, but then also the other spellcasters are way too weak. But
it's not even just a spellcaster thing. Like if you go a life build, like the best life builds are on Blood Mage. Like you could do really good like tanky melee life builds on Blood Mage. It's just it's really broken. Like yes, other stuff probably needs buffs, but it's really good.
Yeah, I would also not go as far as to say like other casters are bad. I just think it's the discrepancy of how much better Blood Mage is as a caster or like even as life builds is just a little bit too big. Because if you take away Blood Mage, I don't think anyone will complain about the viability of a Stormweaver or even a Lich or like any other caster, Oracle caster build or whatever. I don't think anyone would be like, oh, this doesn't seem strong enough. It's just that you always have to ask yourself once you get into min-maxing an endgame build or something, could this be better on Blood Mage? And as of right now, the answer is mostly yes. So, and that just poses a little bit of a problem. We said time and time again, there's always going to be a meta. Then there's always going to be like the best class. There's always going to be every single league is going to be having the best Ascendancy. It's always going to be the case. But it's kind of surprising to me that the Blood Mage has lived this long and has even outnumbered the Oracle. While the Druid is the new class, and
that's
what
crazy.
Everyone was excited for. Still, Blood Mage is the higher percentage of people playing that Ascendancy. That's kind of crazy to me.
I think two things with respect to that. I think that the Blood Mage also showed up in popularity throughout the season. Like it was obviously the Druid started better, and the Blood Mage, as the season progresses, people realize it's strong. It needs items, so it scales better and it gains popularity with time. And second is that you are correct. Obviously, every game, everything has a meta game. Even basketball has a meta game, right? So it is impossible to escape the meta. But I have to say that for me, at least, this season has felt like with the most variety. It has felt really cool in terms of build variety compared to the other seasons. Like you don't feel like you have this ultra dominant force like Lightning Spear. Okay, Blood Mage is better, but even inside Blood Mage, there are different builds, right?
Sort of,
yes.
Yeah, inside Blood Mage for sure. I'd say, but if you break it down, probably it's right now it's like 20% Blood Mage and like 18% or something like that Oracle. But in reality, out of those 20 and 18%, how many of those are going to be cast on crit comment? It's probably the majority of them. So in reality, the diversity is while the classes themselves have diversity, the builds themselves don't really have as much diversity as we would like at this point in the league. But again, I say overall in the league, there has been a lot more diversity than last league. It wasn't like
Yeah, if
day
you look at
one.
away from Blood Mage Oracle, like other Ascendancies, right? Like the diversity is way better.
100%. And I mean, just to the fact that there are multiple classes being played, even though the build itself is kind of the same, I think is a better sign than what it has been in the past, where it's just like one build, one class.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just keep the Ascendancy talk going. Let's just like go into the Disciple of Vrashta. This Ascendancy is very popular in solo self-found hardcore and in hardcore in general. It is a very tanky Ascendancy. The 1 second reduction off of the energy shield start is just insane. You are just so beefy with it. It's just making energy shield even better. The reason I want to talk about the Disciple, though, when we talk about build diversity, is this is one of the Ascendancies where it's like, this is the, like, we actually talked about this before it came out, but we're getting an Ascendancy with like, what, 14, 16 abilities or something, 12 abilities. More than likely, most of them are going to be duds, and that's what it mostly feels like. There are some builds out there using some of the Jhin, but most of them that use Jhin are using the utility ones, like the mana regeneration one and stuff. And most of the time, people are using it just for its utility. Like you get the timeless jewels, you get the staff and the focus, and then you get the energy shield recharge. I mean, has that been your guys' experience with Disciple? Have you guys played it this league? I've only played it in solo self on hardcore a little bit, and I just played a cookie cutter standard build that wasn't using Jhin. But anytime I see a Disciple build, it's very rarely doing anything cool with Jhin. There are some out there. I'm not saying there aren't any, but it seems like the Jhin.
I have
flopped.
not played it, but I have kept up with what people are doing with it because I was planning on starting a Disciple for the second win league, but I ended up not starting a Disciple because of exactly what you are explaining. I wanted to play something cool, maybe like a spell from the rogue, the Jhin or whatever. But now it is just another caster that is more tanky, which, by the way, casters keep being more tanky than warriors for some reason. We got another tanky caster, and I just play another caster. I wanted to play the Jhin's, brother. That is a cool thing, right? So I decided to not go with Vrashta. And I have to say that I hope that with balance or whatever it improves, because I like the idea behind the Ascendancy. It is cool, right? You have two vectors of scaling this caster, that it is not only spell damage, but also you can scale it with minion damage, companion damage. That is not normally what you scale a caster with. Like, the idea behind it is a cool idea. The implementation has not been so great so far.
For me, it was kind of the same for me. I also haven't played Disciple of Vrashta, even though it kind of fits what I usually play. But for me also, it is kind of just an energy shield ascendancy a little bit. And that ascendancy, especially as a caster, already exists for me, and it's Lich. I still think, I do realize, yes, Vrashta is insane for energy shield, and Vrashta is insane for tankiness. I will always prefer the 25% damage reduction that you get on the Lich, as opposed to what you get on the Vrashta for it. So to me, it was always just, like Jazz also said, it was just a way to play a caster more tanky. And in the way that the Vrashta is more tanky, it wasn't really that interesting to me, because you can do the two-handed staff thing with the focus. That's fine. You can get the energy shield recharge or whatever. Nothing of that really, for me, beats out what the Lich can do for me, because on Lich you can just stack a hell of a lot of energy shield. You can just go like 20,000 energy shield. And on top of having 25,000 energy shield, and on the Lich being immune to bleed and poison, and having all the low life mechanics on the Lich and whatever gets offered to you there, you have, before everything, before chaos resistance, before all the resistance, whatever, you have just a minimum of 25% less damage taken overall. That just beats out anything for me, and it's insane. Whenever you go for defensive layers, that's just it for me. You just need a series, and that's it. So it's kind of unfortunate a little bit when it comes to Vrashta, because it was also something that they just released pretty much last minute. I think we got the Vrashta trailer or whatever a few hours before league start, and I think it's an amazing idea. But right now, I think the only identity Vrashta has is Energy Shield, and not really Jins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree, true.
I think there's a couple factors to it. One, Vrashta was announced so late, so a lot of people had kind of already in their mind had an idea about what they wanted to league start with. So that is part of it. But the other thing is about Vrashta is that I do think that maybe Vrashta would be played more outside of just like the cookie cutter stuff of like, getting the staff plus focus and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you take a look at what people are playing on Vrashta, guess what skill and combination they're playing? They're playing Cast on Crit Comet. So why do you need Jins if that existed? If that exists, why do you need the Jins? So until we get
all the Jins suck too.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I mean we had the beginning where Aste was doing, and a lot of people were doing like the frost stuff and the frost explosions, and that was really cool. But it lacked a little bit in single target.
The Beatles suck. I was really disappointed with the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, they probably use like the base crit chance one. That's really good for critical weakness. Like that's really good. And I think Vrashta is really popular in hardcore because it's so tanky. Mm-hmm. It's getting like the energy shield recharge, getting the armor for free when you get energy shield. Like all that stuff is just so good. And at the end of the day, when you talk about softcore, there's Blood Mage. While you play Vrashta, when there's Blood Mage, like people say, like, oh, you get the +1 focus. You get the focus with +1 spells, but like you can get to level 40 spells without the focus and staff combination.
Well, it's also the even if like, so what's funny is about it is they made the passive 50% effect of your focus, so you're not getting 100% of your focus. If it was 100% of the focus value, though, you'd still probably play Blood Mage. Like, it's nerfed for no reason. So,
yeah, but I mean, I don't think there's an inherent problem with the fact that this class is people play it for fun, but at the end of the day, if you're in softcore, you might not play it compared to others, but in hardcore, you play it. Again, Vrashta is the #1 ascendancy in hardcore. Is the #1 ascendancy
playing
in
it with
hardcore.
Rend. The Wervrin gets, it's like, I don't know, is it like 40% faster recharge rate of energy shield, faster start or something? So doing Vrashta on the dragon form with Rend was like instant start to energy shield. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like imagine they buffed it, then it would be even crazier in hardcore, right? So I don't think there's an inherent problem with the class itself. It's just that it's not it's geared more towards hardcore than softcore, and we'll see what happens with the Jin stuff when Cast on Crit Comet eventually, inevitably gets nerfed.
Like, I don't know do you think that GGG looks at the numbers like on hardcore or solo self-found when trying to buff or nerf? Because if they just focus on softcore, they could probably buff the Jins. Not the defensive side, but the Jins that people are not using to try to incentivize people to play the Jins, right?
Well,
bro, I don't know if they look at numbers at all sometimes. Like,
well, I mean, didn't they just say like they got their stats version for the first time, like in 0.2 or something like that?
Yeah, like there's some changes that just like, I mean, like, Blood Mage has been the #1 versus, like, there's just so many outliers where it's like if you looked at the numbers, things would have been tweaked much sooner. I don't know how much they're deep diving into them. Not to derail that conversation.
It's kind of like on a small derail. It's kind of insane to me how well they are doing with being spread so thin, because sometimes it becomes very, very clear that there's stuff that isn't tested. There's like very clear instances sometimes where you go into something and you be like, oh shit, one person trying this out for 15 minutes, they would have immediately realized that this isn't working at all. It's a nice thought though, and it's kind of crazy to me that, and for me that doesn't indicate that they're intolerant, like that they're incompetent or whatever. It's just, to me, it signals that they are just incredibly spread thin. That they are just, it's rough right now with the 2 games and the size of the studio and whatever. And I'm just so fucking excited to when they actually have the power to fully concentrate on these types of things, and they are actually going to be able to do these things to the fullest to what then is going to happen, because it's not really that those things are like fucking up the game in any sense of the word. It's just like sometimes you just be like, wait, what? How did they? I'm blanking on an example right now, but like people in my chat
Radiant
have
Grief.
amazing example.
Radiant Grief is that helmet that ignites enemies in your presence. Since the ignite rework, it doesn't work anymore.
Oh yeah,
it literally has no effect at all. It's like literally a dead item. Like those are examples, right? Like,
well,
it's just,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
it's a good example.
It's gonna be insane.
By the way, talking about Ignite, I think that the flammability introduction was not necessary at all. Like, it still kind of works the same in the background. Like, if you do a big hit, you have big flammability and you still ignite. But it is like creating a confusing pseudo ailment for
I'm
nothing.
confused. Like, I'm waiting for the Miso to do a 10-minute Ignite deep dive video like he did with Poison in 0.1. Like, I do not, I'm being genuine. I still don't fully understand the Ignite rework. Like, I just, like, if I do, I haven't bothered doing an Ignite build because they don't even seem worth doing. Outside of Ignite Pro lift builds using like what Miso was doing last patch, where you do a singular big hit with Flame Blast and then you're looping it.
I did aquí estaba a ver, a Smith of estaba a ver that uses cast on ailment with Ignite. And it is pretty good. Like you ignite everything and you move on and everything dies behind you with the Ignite. But at the same time, it is unnecessary to have flammability. You could have come up with a million other things if you wanted to differentiate it from poison, because it kind of worked the same. Big hit, big poison, big hit, big ignite. You wanted to differentiate it. You can do a million things that don't involve this thing that nobody understands.
Yeah, I don't know. My thought was like the flammability would allow you to maybe use some smaller hits to start building up ignites or something like that. But overall, it doesn't seem to have changed anything. So I hope they do end up touching it. And yeah, maybe eventually I'll make another video. But at the moment, I don't see them keeping flammability the same way for release. So I'm probably just going to keep that door closed for now until we see some more info about changes.
That's so funny. That's funny. Yeah, because I'm genuine, like what I'm saying. Like I just still don't understand the mechanics enough to where I can like confidently just commit to trying to build an Ignite build. It's just and it's just again, this is supposed to be the easier to understand game, and Jazzarus nailed it. We've talked about this on the podcast in the past. The reason they tried shifting this away was because it was clear Ignite and Poison were like the same. It was one was a red element from a big hit, and one was a green helmet from a big hit. Period. Like that was just how it worked. But this was not the way to go with it at all.
It's so confusing that you know how you press Alt and you read over what things do. So you go over flammability, and new player press Alt and go over flammability and see the block of text
this big.
They don't even read it. They say fuck this and they move on.
Exactly, dude. It is best. And then there's like multiple other things in it. You have to like alt pin to mouse over, and it's just like, oh my god, an encyclopedia just to get an ailment? Are you kidding?
Yeah. And it is not even the ailment. It is the possibility to apply the real ailment, which is Ignite.
That is, I don't know. And I think before the rework, we talked about a lot on the podcast about how the biggest reason why everyone's playing lightning damage is mostly due to shock, since shock is just easily applied now. It's even easier applied now with the thunderstorm coursing current thing or whatever it's called. No, shock conduction one. It's just you get on my hardcore build that I'm playing right now with like a second weapon set up that I have for a thunderstorm on the second weapon set, and then going into all the magnitude of shock nodes on the passive tree. I just get with thunderstorm with the current setup. I just get an instant 70% shock on any target, which is just like, okay, I just 70% magnitude of shock. And I think we talked about Ignite before all the reworks, and how I just think they just need to, like, Ignite is cool as a concept, and I think it can do amazing things. It just, the numbers just need to be better. It just needs to do more damage. You just apply a big Ignite or something, or you even scale it with magnitude of Ignite, and then it's just like mows down something, just like you can scale poison, for example. It basically does the same thing in the end, right? So why not just have it a little bit longer? So, yeah. In my build of the week, by the way, we might have a possible answer to Ignite, though. We'll see.
You did your homework? I didn't
So
realize.
stay tuned for what?
You did your homework? I didn't realize.
You didn't realize what?
I didn't realize you did your homework.
Oh, I did. I asked my chat for a cool build earlier today. So
he cheated. He cheated. He didn't do the research himself.
So stay tuned. So stay tuned for the build section at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I personally still think that the biggest problem with Ignite is prolif. There's no way to prolif it. It's like there is a way, right? Crackle creep or some of the Ignite nodes on the tree for prolif, but there's an inherent like a second and a half until it actually proliferates. I don't get why there's that arbitrary limitation to it. It doesn't exist in Path of Exile 1, but for some reason it exists in Path of Exile 2. And that is, in my opinion, holding the Ignite back from being strong, because I actually do think Ignite has a lot going for it in the fact that you can even aggravate Ignites with Scythe of Spear.
Scythe of Spears.
Yep. It's actually, if you're talking about pure single target damage, Ignite actually does a pretty good amount. And guess what? While the oil grenade incinerate stuff is definitely super, super strong and busted, I do think that the fact that oil grenade incinerate, being able to have that really, really quick ability to ignite in a huge group of enemies is very powerful and is one of the reasons why it works. Because imagine if oil grenade incinerate also had to have that prolif thing where initially it's a single target, but then it starts prolifing after a second and a half. It wouldn't do damage. Like, people wouldn't use it because it just doesn't do enough AoE. People would they just wouldn't use it. So I think that if Ignite was able to actually proliferate like this, instead of waiting a second and a half before it could even spread to an enemy, I think it would be a lot better.
I agree, and there is no reason to do it because they allow you to do it with Poison and Blitz.
Yeah.
You have the infinite chain that you do with Herald of Blood and the Poison Burst thing. So why can Poison and Blitz do it and Ignite can't? It is not that you are against this policy across the game. You are only doing it for Ignite.
Yeah, it's a classic case of GGG trying to solve a problem and making it, like, removing fun to solve a problem that really didn't need to be solved. Like, I know, I get where they're coming from. Like, you have bleed, ignite, and poison, and in 0.1, people were doing things where they were doing tri-ailment builds. One single big hit, all three doing an ailment that was doing insane damage, and they were very copy-pasted, 3 different ailments, but they were all functionally the same. I get why they were trying to solve it, but like, it's... I wouldn't be like opposed to, like, if there was some like, yeah, there maybe flammability, there's something with it is what causes prolificate to like be baseline or something or more frequent. I'm not sure, but like any ignite prolif build is like giving up a ring slot sucks, and I think the other solution is a support gem, which you're never gonna do ever, like not with lineage support gems in the game. So yeah.
The support gem that does it, you have to wait like a second and a half or 1 second. Nobody wants to wait that. If you can just do one hit and delete everything. Yeah.
It's the same as the ring. It just sucks. That's why the only real good ignite builds are of course, again, this incinerate one, but then with oil grenade, but also all the minion ones, the minion infernal legion ones, because those instantly do the ignite damage to everything around it. It actually has AoE. Other than that, Ignite does not have AoE. You have to hit basically every single enemy to get the ignite on them, or else you're just not spreading the ignite.
Do we think either on... I think the obvious choices would be, I think, Druid or Sorceress. Oh no, wait. Oh no, Sorceress got the 3rd Ascendancy just now. We were on the Sorceress, we were kind of thinking at some point we were going to get like a Fire Sorceress Ascendancy. We didn't get that. Will we ever get something that is going to be like fire-based? Because it's kind of insane to me how in a game, an ARPG,
We have Infernalist.
Yes, Infernalist is
Yeah,
supposed to be the
is
fire-based
Infernalist-
one. I mean,
Is
it
it-
goes
yeah.
with
Wow.
All your damage ignites.
yeah,
That's
all your
kind of-
damage ignites.
Yeah,
it has
that
the
way.
infernal flame.
Itawa,
When you crit, you ignite yourself.
yeah. Okay, so it's
Well,
not
keep
really
in mind,
down to
there's
not
Abyssal
having-
Lich, right? So if Stormleaver got Pyromancer as their Abyssal Lich, you could change the Lightning
True.
Cold nodes to like Fire Ignite nodes. But I don't think at this point.
True.
Yeah, maybe I should work in game development. But yeah, I don't know at this point. We're getting like another new Ascendancy that's just purely fire based. I think we're just
Yeah.
Pyromancer and Smith, right?
No, I wasn't even thinking about Infernalist. I mean, it's called Infernalist. What am I saying? Infernalist.
I mean, you don't think
Kitava.
of it as Ignite usually. So.
No, yeah, exactly. And I think you just don't think of those because yeah, they might be fire-based ascendancies, but it's just down to the fire ailment, and even the fire-based skills are just not there yet, unfortunately. I just think, and that was like my overall point for this, it's just insane to me that in an ARPG, one of the elements that I would, as a spellcaster player, I would deem as to be one of the coolest theoretically, is kind of not there, and everything is just very focused on other elemental damage, like mostly lightning. I just think it's a little bit sad because there could be so much cool. I always thought Flame Blast has such an amazing idea behind it. Like all the masses of fireball stuff was amazing, and yeah, it's just sad.
Fire's really meta.
We need fire stuff.
Fire's really meta. Living Bomb,
lose
Comet.
Jazz.
Come on, man.
I think we did lose Chaz, or he's just incredibly
He's
good
just
at
like
staying still.
he's a really good stone statue face, man. That is like impeccable form. I think we lost them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, ignite or fire spells are like they're not bad. Like they're just not meta. I guess that's the way to put
Well,
it.
there is
I see lots of fireball builds.
There is one glimmer of hope that I've seen that's pretty good, and that is at the end of the day our good old Smith and Kitava fire spell on hit, and using that to do Detonate Dead. I think Detonate Dead is really good.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Detonate Dead is yes, that is a very good example. Thank you. Yes.
I have
Detonate
been
Dead is
using
very good.
Detonate Dead on my Abyssal Lich plant build, and it's pure insanity. For clear,
Isn't that
it
what
is just
Sarge used to get 100?
Yep, exactly. Oh no, I thought it was Sarge's friend.
I don't know. Whoever got rank 1 got.
Yeah, someone told me
With
Sarge
Detonator.
died at 99, and his friend then used the build to get to 100 and just named the character Sarge.
Oh, that's funny. Well, whoever's number 1 on the hardcore ladder was named Sarge, and I'm pretty sure they're playing.
Oh,
the Detonate
Blaze
Dead
told
one,
me
right?
in that podcast. I thought it was on this podcast. No, it was Blaze. Blaze told me that. No, Sarge died at. Yeah, it's Oscarinen. Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Detonate Dead's a
got
good example,
Bamboozled
though.
too. Sarge played something else. I think Sarge played Shield Wall or something. I'm not sure, but they changed the name when he got to 100. Yeah, that was it. Well, yeah, that's the build that I'm playing right now. Just like Abyssal Lich plans with. But because I didn't even know that when you go to Abyssal Lich, I didn't even know that the Rupture the Soul, which was kind of bad on Eating Contagion, because yes, it's doing chaos damage, but the problem on Eating Contagion was that when the enemies exploded with the Rupture the Soul, it didn't spread the contagion, and therefore it didn't spread the Essence Strain. But on plants, you can use it on Abyssal Lich, then it scales with physical damage. And when you just have plants, everything that is exploding, it's like a Detonate Dead before you have Detonate Dead. So they detonate when they die, and then when you use Detonate Dead, they die again. They detonate again when they are corpses. So it's incredible. I love this build.
I didn't realize that it
cool.
didn't get rid of corpses.
No, it didn't.
Yeah. Because
No,
when
they,
you use
they explode, and
Actually,
it's still
no.
corpses on the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah. No,
Also,
the
it's
Abyssal Lich one.
33% chance.
Yes.
It's 33% chance. So I think it gets once they actually explode, it does get rid of that corpse. But
No,
since it's
that's right.
only 33% to happen, you
It
still
leaves
have
the other
corpses.
corpses.
Now
It
I'm
leaves the
thinking
other
about it. It
corpses,
doesn't
yeah.
get rid of corpses. I remember this now because I did this last
it
league
does?
with
Okay.
it proliferate the Cracklecrete build, and I
Yeah.
did use that on regular Lich for a little bit, and the corpses, as far as I know, stayed for that. Actually, you know what?
Okay.
Maybe I was also using the physical
Good question,
version too.
maybe.
Yeah, well,
Good question, maybe.
it has to be tested, I think, because
No,
I
but the
actually
build is
remember
amazing.
that I was using
That's-
Abyssal Lich too. So
Yeah, the build is absolutely amazing. I'm kind of thinking that if nothing would be changed, that might be a league starter for me, because Plants is just amazing as a league starter, and Lich is amazing as a league starter. Everything about that. But yeah, I do expect a lot of stuff to change in 0.5, so we'll see.
I hope so.
We'll see. Yeah.
If Crusader doesn't get nerfed this patch, I'm playing it. I'm pissed I didn't league start it because I thought it got nerfed, but it didn't.
Crusader?
Which one?
Crusader, my Crusader Blood Mage. The cast on crit from Doedre's Undoing Curse build. I was playing that in 0.3, and now it's like the most one of the most meta builds this patch. I was I was swearing it was going to be nerfed in 0.4, and it looked like in the patch notes it did get nerfed, but it ended up getting buffed. Like I was playing it with Autoly's Bloodletting last patch, and then now this patch is just like so much better, and I just don't think it's gonna live. You get like screen wide curses and cast like comments everywhere, and the boss damage is just insane.
Yeah, is like the whole Doedre's instant curse application gonna stay? I don't know, because it's also like a big reason why cast on crit comet is just so prevalent right now, because there's just no way to instantly damage everything and apply cast on criticals that instantly to everything. So is that going to stay? Probably not as well.
I don't think so. But if it does, I'm going to league start it maybe, because that's just such a powerful league start.
Yeah, but you know they might pull. They might make Doedre's
I think it needs to be nerfed.
They might also make it rarer. That's also another thing they could do.
I could do that. That would be a good change. I think, I mean, my first step would be like, I mean, GG always over nerfs, but the first step I would do is make it maybe to where it doesn't feel cast on crit. That way it's truly what's, I don't think when they made Doedre's Undoing, they wanted to make curse builds good. They didn't want to make cast on crit builds enabled better, right? So like my first step would be hopefully trying to make it to where it actually, you could still, I love the big curses, right? I think it was in 0.3, I think it was Captain Lance playing a Doedre's build on an Abyssal Lich, but he wasn't doing it with cast on crit because he was doing it on Abyssal Lich. And then I played it on a Blood Mage with cast on crit, and I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely getting nerfed because the boss damage was just freaking insane. Plus, it still had the screen caking cursing stuff. But then it didn't get nerfed; it got buffed, and then it's actually better without tech rods. At least when I've played it, it feels like so much better than last. But I hate Tech Rod ramp. The whole like having to spam spells to get the regen ramping up at the start of each map and having to sustain that was super annoying. But yeah, I like the curse style because it's cool using curses to kill, and it's cool that they can get such a big AoE, and the investment into the build is fun where you have to get like curse activation delay, but if you hit 100% it bricks it, so you have to get to 99%, and like there's these like curse builds are really fun to build, but they're just used to feel cast on crit, which is back to the cast on crit complaint.
Once again, we're always doing the circle.
Don't worry.
Should we do a quick break? Just like for a cut there. If we just wait if Jazzarus comes back, so you can do like a quick cut on the VOD.
Yeah,
I think he just hops back in.
Yeah, we'll just hop back in when we're ready. But
we just keep the flow going.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know, when as far as it comes to curse builds, you know, I can't wait until next patch when Doedre's Undoing becomes Hexblast 2.0.
And it's just
so what's funny is Hexblast is still played. We know how it is played in cast on crit. It's only played in cast on crit builds.
Did you see the same build that I did?
I know
saw
there was a
Titan
video that came out
build
for it
using
recently.
Hexblast.
But I think that build's been around since 03, but I only recently seen footage of it. And yeah, I think it might have been the same one you saw. I don't remember. It was recently I saw a cast on crit Hex Blast.
I saw that too.
Might have been this morning,
in the
actually.
end, and in the end, it's just a gimmick because yes, it's cool and it works, but it's just
worse
like
than Comet.
Comet would have been infinitely better and like achieves the same thing. Still, though, I think it's very interesting or it's very important for people to do gimmicky builds because that's what's getting innovated on all the time then, and that's what people take and go like, oh damn, wait, this actually does work, and then someone else does something. So yeah, no, keep doing gimmicky builds, PoE2 community, because it's amazing, and we can take so much pointers from that. So
yeah, you're usually like with me making and me with me and Miso making gimmicky builds, but you didn't really do that this late patch.
The thing is, the plan
you only did the one plant build, and then the only other builds you showcased were other people builds, right? So like you only ever made the one build. Well, two since you technically remade it on Lich, but you usually make way more.
The plan stuff was just so big this league that I just kind of rode that wave a little bit because so many people were still on the plant build, and I'm still getting people every single day that go comment to my chat from Mobalytics from the plant build. And also after that, I did, since I wanted to do temple, obviously, then when I got my temple up and running and I needed to play a build that was able to do temple real quick, and then I did the Temporalis Autobomber one, and then I just did Spark COC Comet, and I didn't really feel like that was even close to me actually doing a build that was originally me. So I didn't really see the point. So even though I said build diversity is kind of high this league, I didn't really delve into too many gimmicky builds this league because it was plans into COC Comet for me.
Yeah.
You also leveled 198 right now, right? Or 97, so
yep.
That's a lot of time on one character.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, this league I revived Glacial Lance, a lot of fun. And did what was it, the Ember Fusilier cock build, which was not my build. So I think both me and Rabbit did kind of like dip into other people's builds this league, which we don't usually do, I would say.
Yeah, you actually, and you sat on your first build a long time. You were on Dragon for a month?
Not for a month.
It felt like a long time.
No, it was like 2.5 weeks. It was fun though. I really enjoyed
it was a month in PoE time at least.
Yeah, Flame Breath was such I love Flame Breath. It's such a fun build. It's not very effective. It's not very good. It's really slow, but it's really good. Like, and for anybody wondering, it was using Flame Breath only for everything, for clear and single target. It was nowhere near as good as Rend for clear, but damn, was it fun. But yeah, overall this league just lots of longevity. I'm still playing. I'm playing hardcore solo self round right now. It's a good time.
Oh yeah, how's that been going?
It's been good. I mean, so I died at this point. Real deaths, I'd say like 4 times. So no, 3 times. First 2 deaths, Tavakai slapped me because I got one shot twice, basically, because I just don't know what Tavakai does. Half is like a lot of his abilities. I'm just like, what is this? I don't know how much damage it does. I don't know what it does. So I ended up dying because of that. Because I'd stand in there trying to greet damage.
Very good thing to go into HCSSF with. It's like, what does it boss do?
Yeah, no. And people were like, you should just go to standard and figure it out. I'm like, no, that's not the way to do it.
That.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll learn it eventually. So I died twice to him and got one shot both times.
Same ability too, right?
No, different ability. The first one was
which ability is one?
So the first one was he throws down a bunch of spikes and then he explodes the spikes. I didn't realize the spikes exploded. I thought they just disappeared. And then the second one was he laid a little puddle on the ground that grows and then it explodes. So I didn't realize that one does that much damage. It was like I had like 1,000 health or something like that and just took me out. So I was like, okay, well, that happened.
Oh, he's also doing life build. He didn't clarify whether he's doing life builds.
Yeah, I'm doing life. Well, I mean, during the campaign, you're mostly life.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, are you doing
the
life with
campaign
ES?
stacking
Because
energy shield.
I've been doing purely life with armor, and 1,000 life by Tabakai is not near enough for pure life armor. I don't know if you're doing like life ES hybrid.
Second character I was no, first character I was Smith. So I had like, I was fairly tanky
That's
on that
awesome.
one. Yeah, but the second one it was it was Warbringer, pure life armor, and that was that was rough. The third death though was to BS Bug. I froze Jamon Ra in Act 2 the first time you see him. You know when he throws his sword down and you have to stand in a little circle and then he explodes the area on the outside? So what happened is if you freeze him during that part, the animation,
you're talking about like right after Babala.
Yeah. He throws the sword down and then you have to stand in the circle and then it explodes the outside. So what ended up happening was I froze him after he threw the sword down. The animation played, but because he was frozen, it technically didn't go through. So I walked out after the animation for the explosion went off, and then I just died. I was like, what happened? How did I die? And then we were going through it, and then Crimson was like, I think it was Crimson. He was basically in chat. He was like, oh, it wasn't Crimson. It was somebody else. But Crimson came in later too, and we talked about it. But it was basically, I think the animation just played, but it didn't go through because he was frozen. I'm like, there's no way. Yep. And then we tested it again.
Still went off after.
And then it was because I froze him in that exact time. The animation played, but the damage didn't go through technically. So after he finished, I went out and it just looked like I got hit by nothing.
That happens with a lot of bosses, by the way. The flame lady in Act 2, one of the first bosses you kill in Act 2, or even the second boss you kill in Act 2, the flamethrower, grenade throwing lady.
Yeah.
She does that too. If you pin her or if you freeze her, and it gets like a weird timing on her where she starts running and tries to kill you. I don't want to say the word, but she basically does like the explosion on herself thing while running at you. And if you pin her before that or freeze her at a weird timing, she stays still, but it still does that. She comes running at you while being still. So I had it was a softcore death, fortunately, because I think I'm not sure what it was, because in hardcore SSF I would have been very mad about that. But that happens apparently with a lot of bosses, that if you freeze them or pin them or whatever it is, they still for some weird reason do certain mechanics that can kill you. And yeah, that is not a cool death in hardcore solo self-fund, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I made it past there now. I beat my demon Tabakai last night, and we're in interludes now. So crossbow grenades, very strong. First time playing crossbows. It's been a good time.
Oh, grenades are sick.
Yeah, it's been a good time. Early on, it's really clunky with the reload stuff, but then as you scale attack speed, as you scale skill speed, it gets a lot better in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Going back to how you guys talked about how you guys didn't really make very many builds. You've just been doing a little bit of a different vibe this patch. I went into this patch with, I think I even talked about on this podcast where I was I was trying to find myself as a build maker almost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I even went into announcing to my community that if you're going to follow my builds, just know that I may be re-rolling every other day and stuff. And that's kind of what was happening. I want to say I made I got really burnt out. I made too many builds to the point where half of my builds I didn't make videos for. I had a really good Thorns build that the Mobalytics has a lot of favorites on that I never made a video guide for. And it was just because I was going through video builds so fast that I just I lost the motivation to edit them. But I really disliked how I approached the league. I don't think I'll ever do that again where I'm just that build crazy. In retrospect, it feels that I quit a lot of builds before I really got a chance to push them to their limit. And it also led to situations where, I know it's not something you have to concern yourself with as a creator, but there were a lot of these builds where I went through them so fast that whenever I get someone asking me about them, I can't fucking remember. I was going through them so fast, or I just didn't really I was on them for 3 to 4 days, and they'll say stuff to me and it's like, oh, I think you know more about the build than I did. Because I just threw something together and made something for it. So I really dislike how I approach this league. I will never do that again. I think from now on I will be looking to commit to a character for at least a week on launch, maybe 2, but I won't ever do what I did because it was not fun for me as the editor, and it was not fun for I think my fans that follow my content. Like, I'm sure that a lot of them like the people that watch my videos that like I just want to see the cool concept and don't care about playing the build. They like that stuff, but for the people playing them, it felt like my quality of my guides slipped, and I really only got to do one build that I'm super proud of in terms of like how I executed it. It was the supporting fire tactician. I think the mobilytics. Like I put a lot of effort into that one. That's the only one I really put like a lot of effort into, and it was just because I was just re-rolling so much. And yeah, I don't think I'll do that ever again.
It's interesting because I think
Live
that
and we learn.
yeah. So how I do my builds and stuff like that is typically if I'm making a build guide, I will want to play that build for like at least half a week to a week before I move to another build after I make the build guide, because I think a lot of people do want to see you playing the build and see how it looks like when you're on your stream. So that's kind of typically how I do it.
It doesn't help that I don't consider myself a streamer at all, so I almost never stream. Yeah, I wasn't streaming. I was getting a lot of PC crashes at the start of this league too, so that didn't help.
Yeah,
That'll do ya.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're getting Jazzarus back, guys.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't come back, we'll reschedule him for a couple down the road. We'll get him back in.
I hope he's
Let's
okay.
move on to so we got the 0.5 dB leaks. Skip to the next timestamp if you don't want to know these leaks. Trice talked about them in a video, but they're actually on the database now. We have the database. It literally says patch 0.5 in the database leak, and it's 2 new ascendancies for Ranger and Huntress. I believe the data mine names for them are Beastmaster and Arcane Archer.
Oh, he's back.
You
He's
just
back.
had to say it.
The legend himself.
Okay, but Beastmaster and
Oh, he's on his. That sounds like phone.
Are we alive?
No, we're
No.
live.
We're alive.
is everything okay there, Jazz?
Dude, my PC crashed. It fucked up. I had to change to an old GPU.
A new
Oof.
GPU?
An old
So
GPU.
no-
I had
Oh, an
a
old
GPU
GPU.
saved. Like, an old one.
God damn it. So it wasn't the third power outage in Path of Exile, Path to Exile history. I was already thinking this might have been the third power outage. Only guy that doesn't have a power outage on this podcast is me so far with a power outage podcast.
Let me
didn't
see if
miss
I can
anything,
bring back the. I was going to ask, did I miss a lot? I am sorry, guys, for this.
You didn't.
We
We're
talked
about to go
about-
into the new topic.
We riffed for a bit, so we were literally just about to dive back into the topic list. So you missed nothing important. We just talked about build making stuff.
Thank God for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, did you have? I don't remember where you fell out on. I think it was in the middle of the Ignite conversation. Did you have any final thoughts on the Ignite stuff, Jazz?
I wanted to talk about something Rabbit mentioned regarding Shock. That Shock is so good that even if you are not playing an electric build, you put Shock in there somehow with a support gem or with something, because getting 20% more damage is very good.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single build out there like it doesn't make sense to not get shock into your build because it is so easy to do it. Like every single, I don't think I've played a build where I haven't been able to easily work shock into it.
Yep.
Pretty much.
And like I said, especially now with the thunderstorm thing, it is incredibly easy. That is, it is an understatement. You can just get the thunderstorm with the 100% guaranteed shock into any build, and then you do the commiserate overcharge combination, just 2 support gems for more magnitude of shock, easy. And if you want to just take it to the max, you just need a second weapon set, which is always going to be good. Because most of the time, those nodes on the passive tree, or the nodes with magnitude of shock or magnitude of non-damaging elements, are most likely in your vicinity anyway. It is no-brainer, and that doesn't exist for any other element.
And a lot of them are in metamorphosis range too. So there's a lot of builds where you can just put a metamorphosis down, get a really good few passes that you needed for your build, and then also just scoop shock magnitude.
Yep. Very good.
Okay, so onto the 0.5 dB leaks. That's what we're about to dive into when you came back, Jazz. So it looks like, the database literally says patch 0.5 on them, and we're seeing 2. We've seen one of these images before, I think, behind the GGG devs during their dev interviews. But yeah, I believe this is Arcane Archer and Beastmaster. Just talking about 0.5 in general, if I were to put a guess, like a big bet out there, I would say we're not going to get a core class, but we are obviously going to get Ascendancies. So I think we'll get these 2, plus maybe something Abyssal Lich-like. But what are your guys' thoughts on this?
I think that we are not going to get a core class because we just have the Druid, and historically they don't release classes back to back, right? I would be very grateful and happy if we get one, but I don't think it will happen, so I am not getting my hopes up. But for Ascendancies, I could see at least these 2 coming out, and even the 4 that we are missing, for the 4 classes that are missing one, I also can see that happening. The Beastmaster one, which is in the game files called like the Wild Speaker, it looks very cool. I hope it is cool. I am not a big Arcane Archer guy, but I also hope it is fun. In general, for 0.5, I think like what would be my predictions? Okay, the endgame rework, the league mechanic, right? We know that is coming. I think a couple of Ascendancies, maybe skills, new skills that are missing or something like that. Basically, that they could go out big and maybe even put the Trial of the Ancestors in there too, stuff like that.
I think there's gonna be a new class. I don't know. Because they fully intended for a new class to come in 0.3. It was just that Druid wasn't ready. So I think because you think about it this way, this is the way I think about it. So they were supposed to release as Druid in 0.3. They didn't. So their intention was to release a new class in 0.3. But that gave them extra time to work on the class for 0.4, which is great. But do you think they worked on Druid the entirety of 0.4? Or leading up to 0.4? I don't think so. I feel like they probably, they had a couple things that they still need to finish up. They still needed to do quality of life, or double check, make sure everything is good. And the other time, they probably had time to maybe work on the next class. Who knows? So I think there's going to be a new class coming in 0.5. But hey, anything can happen, right? And I think Arcane Archer is probably coming, but I don't know about Wild Speaker. We'll see. We've had other things being leaked. We had other things being, put in the game files, like martial artists or whatever, and that didn't come. So we'll have to see what happens. I really think that it's hard to really trust leaks because there's just a lot of them within the data files, and a lot of them don't end up coming out immediately.
Okay, I think we're not getting a class, but we're getting all the Ascendancies that still need a third Ascendancy. That's my absolute hot take for 0.5, because I don't think anyone would be unhappy with not getting another class now, because I honestly think it's not going to be a catastrophe if we get 1.0 with not all classes. I think it can still be like a very cool thing for 1.1 or the first or the second or the third league in actual release to have the new class. I think that because the Druid right now for this league that we have right now showed how much of a plus for a league a new class can be. So I think new weapons, new skills is something that I personally always look really forward to, and they are kind of bound to classes. At least daggers are bound to shadow. Then we have flails that are bound to that. So new Ascendancies are very nice, but they don't really get us like for example, right now, if we get the new martial artist ascendancy, or if we get like the arcane ranger or whatever, most of the time it doesn't really change anything about the meta when it comes to what is going to be played. It's just going to be just like Vrashta. It's just going to be another way to play CUC Comet. So, and that's not going to be the goal. But I think, yeah, depending on what else is going to be reworked in 0.5 when it comes to endgame and stuff, I think having more ascendancies is going to be a good baseline for classes if there's other changes to skills and stuff. I actually think we're getting that because we didn't have the 0. whatever tag before on those leagues. But yeah, martial artist we got already.
The 0.5 tag is what I don't remember seeing specifically like 0.4 on those, but maybe I'm wrong. The one thing I would push back on, like on this little this side of the debate, is the reason why I wouldn't want, like, obviously if we get new weapons, new classes, I'm hyped about that. It really just comes down to the extent of the end game rework. Do you want a majority of your player base flocking to new ascendancies from this new class, which most people will, when you're doing this new endgame where you want sweeping balance tested? In my head, no. You would not want to. It just depends again on how intense the endgame rework was. I think the community, we can talk about the endgame rework. I think the community is grossly overhyping the endgame rework. I think a lot of people are setting themselves up to be disappointed. People are like, there's multiple mechanics. The Atlas is getting reworked. The Atlas passive, the Atlas tree is gone. Like, we're not doing the whole like. I don't think it's going to be that big. I think we're going to get like a new tree and some other stuff, but. Yeah, I don't. It depends on how big the endgame rework is. If it's actually massive, I don't know if you want to necessarily introduce a new weapon into that environment because you want people testing the old stuff with the new endgame. But that's the only scenario I would be like. That's why you wouldn't. If there was a class, if the weapon class is ready, I think GGG just wants it out there, right? If it's ready, they just want it outplayed. So,
like
that's the only counter logic.
To give like optimism to get new stuff, I think that another way we can look at this is the endgame reward was supposed to release in 0.4, right? If they already worked 70% of that for 0.4, and they only needed to bring out the other 30%, they have a lot of time to do other stuff,
That's
right?
a good point.
So maybe.
That's honestly a very good point. The endgame rework was probably more than 70% done if it was supposed to be out by 0.4 launch. It was probably just barely not done, and they're like, okay, now we get to add a little bit more to it and polish. So you actually could be right. Like, they could have just had plenty of time, and obviously, like, you know, different teams work on different stuff, but that's a very good point that they could have had plenty of time for a new class.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's safe to say again that I think we already had the highest expectations ever when it came to 0.4, and I think it's just once again, but it's once again GGG in that regard they kind of did it to themselves because obviously they did because of the we have to put it there. The expectations now couldn't actually be higher. They are almost as high as my expectations for the Diablo 2 changes that they are going to announce in 2 hours. They are almost as high as that. My hopium levels are insane. I'm going to get PoE 2 0.5 and Diablo 2 Resurrected. I'm going to get everything that I ever asked for. That's...
I mean, in reality, I think that when we're talking about an endgame rework, like, what would you even want them to rework outside of the Atlas tree? Like,
that's where I'm at. Like, I don't think it's going to be crazy, right? It's just the Atlas tree that needs a real rework, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But I think like the Atlas tree is like, maybe people are putting too little of an emphasis on how big of an effect that a good Atlas tree will actually have, because it will actually completely change the way that you play the end game. At least if we're thinking about how the Atlas tree is in Path of Exile 1, I think it completely changes how you play the end game because it changes you from a perspective of, hey, I'm just gonna be doing whatever mechanic out there, slapping tablets on here and just making the league mechanics work. It allows you to actually shift your focus and fully optimize the way that you're doing the league mechanics that you haven't been able to do before. And as a result, it really is like a huge change in the way that you're going to approach the end game. So I think maybe we'll see. We'll have to hold off for our judgment. But I think that even just an Atlas change is going to be a huge change that will completely transform the way that we play the end game.
I agree with me. So that for me, that was the number one thing. That was even what I said in Tri's video, where he compiles the opinions of people that I know you guys are there too. I said the Atlas 3 needs a rework, and then they say they are doing it. But if you are reworking the game, there are other many things that you can do. You can improve or rework tablets. You can improve or rework waystones. You can improve the mechanics, Expedition, Delirium, Breach. For example, they rework Breach in PoE 1. They could bring that rework to PoE 2. They can introduce, that is an example. They can introduce mid-level bosses before the final Uber boss, or even a new boss after that. They could, I am just throwing ideas. I am not saying they are doing it.
A lot of these changes are very small, in my opinion. They're like little tiny tweaks in terms of like,
I think Expedition could get a rework. Like, I think of the things he listed there, Expedition is the one I think of that's like, I mean, maybe there are Expedition fans out there that like it. I just take the big bomb and that's it. Big bomb, Expedition.
I agree, but I feel like if they're gonna rework it, they might not like it. Might come in like as like a, how like PoE 1's doing like, oh, we're reworking Breach for this league, and then we're reworking
so it's like an old league mechanic type.
Yeah, I think they might be that, or something like that, unless it's just like a small tweak. But if it's a big tweak, it's gonna have to be its own league mechanic.
I love the situation that we have with Expedition, that everyone just hates on Expedition because it's what's making me rich every single league side. Every single league side, Expedition is just the perfect way in the first week to get giga rich and never have to think about anything again. So thank you all so much for saying Expedition is bad and Expedition is not good enough in terms. So
are you running the logbooks or are you selling them, Rabbit?
Running the logbooks. Yes. And then early league you do.
I don't remember you farming hundreds of logbooks week 1. No, Jazz.
This is an example.
We can keep him like this though. This though, right?
I think eventually he's gonna kick him out again. But I think this is a prime example of a Scrooge McDuck over here. This guy just cares about money. He doesn't care about having fun. He doesn't care about anything else.
Fun. No.
I don't believe you.
By the way,
I don't believe you.
No, also,
I don't believe you
Expedition
either.
is fun. No. Expedition, doing logbooks is actually fun. No, I'm not kidding about that. Doing logbooks is actually fun because it is not just mindlessly, like it is just you have to place them. You go like Lush Isle, or you go like the boxes one, and then you actually place an early league. You can also on Lush Isle you can get like a really good route with experience and whatever. I really like doing logbooks. I'm not kidding about that. I really like doing logbooks. It is such a good change because you have the setup and then you have to do what you do afterwards. Logbooks are amazing. It's just not mindless. It's not like Breach or Abyss where you just plop it onto your map. You're not doing anything else to your gameplay loop. But no, logbooks are awesome.
Yeah, I love staring at paint dry. It's great.
This is the most controversial take on the podcast now.
No, I'm gonna tell you in the comments on the YouTube video.
Logbooks, I just don't like running the logbooks myself.
I'm telling you on the video and on the VOD on the YouTube channel or whatever. This is not going to be controversial. There is a lot of people who really like doing logbooks. I'm telling you.
Sound off in the comments on the logbook comment discussion.
Yeah.
How much do you like? Not Expedition, running the logbooks themselves.
Yep.
I mean, both, to be honest. I don't like doing either. I actually prefer logbooks over Expedition. I'm on that camp. I don't like Expedition.
Really?
I've talked about this before on my stream.
I like farming Expedition. It's easy to mines.
So the reason why I don't like it, and all of you guys are doing it from a money perspective. You guys are talking about it from a money perspective. I talk about fun. I'm talking about enjoyment. I don't like running Expedition because I really don't like that. So Expedition is a really weird league mechanic in that it inherently punishes you for making the wrong decisions. So what I mean by that is that other mechanics, you go in there, you can press the thing, and if you just go in there and just face roll it, you get a base reward. It might not be very good, but you get rewarded, you'll get punished. But for Expedition, if you accidentally overlap your explosive just a little bit on that, you now can't crit, or it's like, oh, you're a fire build and monsters are immune to fire damage, then you're just heavily punished and you just can't do the mechanic. I think that's really annoying. And I think that I mean, is it so? Sure, it's a skill issue. Do
you feel the same about Sanctum?
Not really. Like there are situations
they're very different. I was just curious if you had that same dislike.
There are situations where it's similar, where it's like you have no armor or no energy shield, but technically you can still kind of like, you know, if you're good enough maneuver.
They've changed the energy shield one to where it's half energy shield.
Yeah, so it's like technically if you get no armor, you can still like tank hits, but it's just you're a lot more squishy. It's not like it basically impossible to do. Whereas with Expedition, if you hit one of those wrong ones, you're basically not doing that Expedition. You're not killing those mobs. It's just basically completely debilitating, and it heavily punishes you for not knowing what you're doing or making a mistake or something like that. Whereas none of the other mechanics heavily punish you. It only rewards you for knowing what to do rather than punishing you for not knowing what to do or making a mistake.
Yeah, I've bricked many logbooks by like just mindlessly going over you can no longer leech. It's like, oh, okay, I'm not risking this anymore. I'm going.
I'm fine with them punishing you for making, like, I mean, again, I don't want them to punish you for making the wrong mistake. I want it to be, it's just not very good if you don't make the right decisions. But if you make the right decisions, it's very rewarding, as opposed to if I make the wrong decision, it just punishes you. Because none of the other mechanics do that. But I'm okay if it punishes you less, I guess. If we
is
had
this
to
how
compromise.
it is in PoE 1?
I don't remember, honestly. I don't like it. I just don't like Expedition, so I never do Expedition either. So but yeah, I don't like that mechanic, how it punishes you for making a mistake or having a lack of knowledge. It just doesn't feel right to me. If they change that, it would be way better, because that way and that's like the problem with the big bomb too, because everybody's like, oh, just get big bomb. It makes Expedition way better. But then if it's the same thing where you will go over the wrong one and it's like, well, now I can't do the Expedition anymore. So I'd like to see that changed. But that's my main problem with Expedition.
Yeah, I think, I mean, to me, it's the dumbest reason is I just don't want to read. To me, it's like the map flow excuse. Like when something takes you out of the flow of mapping, I don't like that. I just want to go. And that's why I take Big Bomb, but Big Bomb, I agree. It's not like I enjoy Big Bomb. It's just that is what makes Expedition, like when I was farming for the Vowed Temple crystals, I was doing logbook farming with it, because like it was a one stop, like you just find it, stop, get it, done, go. Like it was very quick that way, but actually doing the logbooks, it's
but it's kind of interesting for the future of the endgame for PoE 2, because does that mean GGG needs to take care or that any temple-like league mechanic always has to be non-intrusive like temple is, where you just basically don't interrupt? But because there's going to be a lot more league mechanics in the future, and they're going to run out of ways to get crystals or get splinters or whatever it's going to be for those league mechanics, because I do think there's going to be more league mechanics in the future that are going to function more like Expedition as opposed to temple
the
or
harvest,
whatever.
right? Isn't harvest one of the more popular league mechanics, and that kind of takes you out of the mapping process? So.
Exactly.
I'm sure that's coming.
It's definitely going to happen. Yeah, it's definitely going to happen in the future again.
I don't inherently have a problem with that. So I have my gripes with Expedition, but if they fix the problems that I mentioned about how it just works very differently than the other league mechanics, I'd be totally fine with Expedition. I still wouldn't do it. I don't think it's fun, but I have no problems with it if they fix that problem. I think that at the end of the day, all these, and I explain it like this all the time to chat, because there's a lot of people like, I hate Temple. I will never do Temple. It sucks. And I'm like, that's great. That's fine. Not every league mechanic is going to be designed for you. And that's the beauty of Path of Exile, is that there's something out there for everybody. Not
exactly
everybody's
what I
going to
was
like
about to
every
say.
single league mechanic, but the beauty about the game is that you have choice. And you can go make that choice and run the thing that you like and not run the things that you don't like.
Yep. And it's just going to be extrapolated in the future. There's going to be a plethora of things that you probably will never engage with if it's not fun to you. But at the same time, it's just going to make the game even better, because there's always going to be instances of people going like, oh, damn, I've never even checked out Expedition. Damn, this looks kind of fun, because they've seen a video by a creator saying like, oh, this is how you make a shit ton of divines doing Expedition, or like, oh, this is actually fun doing it this kind of way. Because in the end, yes, sometimes a mechanic maybe on the surface level might not be fun, but doing it for a specific purpose. I know you were memeing a little bit, Miso, but doing something for like a payoff, even though it's just like currency, can also be fun. Even though like maybe it's not the most exciting thing or the most fun thing doing all the time, but doing a logbook, getting 150 splinters, and then doing Oroth and getting like a 200 divine lineage support gem or whatever, that can be fun, especially if the only thing you've done all day is do mindless abysses and whatever. Because it's just like, I think the most fun for most likely for a lot of people, and mostly for me, is just having variety in your in what you're playing, and having more and more league mechanics like that, and having more and more different things to do in Path of Exile 2 is just gonna be nice. And especially if we get more stuff like Temple or Delve that are just infinitely scaling like that, where people can just sink in insane amounts of time without getting too burned out of it. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, you funny because you mentioned like how you could just stumble upon a league mechanic like on its surface level. You never tried it before, you suddenly try it, it's fun, and you just kind of like stumble upon it. That's what happened with me and Delve. I never played Delve until 3.26, and it was because Jorgen made a video about it, and I had become a fan of Jorgen. And I was like, all right, he's really hyped about Delve. Delve, a lot of people don't want to like look on the surface level, think Delve looks very boring, but you know, it's not for everybody. But
if you go deeper, then
it's a fun mechanic for sure, and it's coming in 0.5, which I'm super excited about.
Delve? You think Delve's
I
going
think
to
it will continue.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't know when we're getting Delve. I just don't know if the game's ready for Delve right now.
I mean, I don't think that they're going to release 2 league mechanics in a row that take you out of that flow, like you were saying earlier. Because Delve is another one that takes you out of the flow, where you have to kind of go do something separate to actually do it.
Yeah. And Resonators would be nice, but GGG has been changing how league mechanic rewards work from PoE 1 to PoE 2. Some of the stuff that was like on Breach is in a different league mechanic in PoE 2 or something like that. So like if we need Resonators, that might just come with a different league mechanic than not Delve. So I would love Delve though, personally. But I agree with you. I don't think it's likely this patch at least.
Mm-hmm. It's coming at some point, but probably not this patch.
Also, it's probably just like on Delve itself. I think Delve itself is just big enough to be the thing. And the next update or the next patch is most likely the thing is going to be the endgame rework.
Endgame rework.
And Delve,
you don't want people in Delve for that.
Exactly. And Delve is just going to be, it's going to be enough of hype just by the name itself, whatever it is, or just by the nature of what it is. It's just going to be on its own. It's going to be enough to carry a whole league announcement on its own. So yeah, excited for Delve in the future.
1.0.
Probably not this time.
Sure. Yeah. If I were to put a guess on 1.0, I would put I think Harvest to me is like the one that screams like fan favorite of that's being missed. I don't know if you guys get that vibe, but I see people asking for Harvest the most. So I would imagine that would come.
This is my PoE 1 hot take is that I hate Harvest.
I've never really done it enough to get a good idea of how it works. Like I've always just done it briefly when it's in my map, but like I've never like tried to do Harvest, so I can't say.
I think people are more excited for Harvest because of the stuff it brings rather than the actual mechanic itself and doing it.
Yes.
I think the mechanic itself is like kind of whatever. You just go into a map and then you just kill mobs, which, you know, in many cases is fine. It's very brainless in many cases. You just look for the big yellow number or the orange number, you click that one and you kill the mobs. But it's the crafting that it brings and the gamba that it brings that people are very excited for. And, you know, we have the res swapping from Harvest, which I don't think is coming, but still, I think the crafting and the stuff that comes from Harvest is the exciting part rather than the actual League mechanic.
I think people like the lore around it too. I have no idea though. Didn't follow it. Other League mechanics we can talk about. Ultimatum and Sanctum. For a while, Ultimatum has felt pretty dead, and even now it's like it's in a weird spot because it's only really popular because of Adorned. Like Adorned is just what completely has shaken up the Ultimatum meta, but I feel like Ultimatum and Sanctum have completely done flips. I almost like like a lot of people farmed Sanctum in the previous 2 patches just because Sanctum was so damn profitable, but I feel like Ultimatum has taken over that. The Fates sell for so much. The Adorn sells for multiple mirrors now. I feel like I just see way more, at least at this point in the league, way more people farming Ultimatum than Sanctum. I have not bothered with much, like last patch I did so much Sanctum farming, and now I'm not farming Sanctum at all, just because Ultimatum just feels way more consistent. Just because even if you don't even do Trial Master, the Fates are selling for like 20 Divine at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say people are farming it more than Sanctum. I think the same amount of people are farming Sanctum, but just more people are farming Ultimatum now. That's what it feels like.
Well, I used to farm Sanctum like crazy, and I've stopped completely. Like, to me, the profit you get from Sanctum is so much lower comparative to like previous patches.
Really? I mean, literally 12 Spirit ATDs are selling for thousands of divs.
Yeah, but hitting a 12 Spirit ATD is like, you know.
But that's always been how you
like,
made money, though. Hitting a good ATD.
Mm-hmm. Selling the Vases sold well. Selling the Grand Spectrums sold well. The Grand Spectrums are worth dog shit now. They're like pennies. I don't know if it's because they're overfarmed or just not meta anymore, but before, the life Grand Spectrums used to be like 24 Divine. They're like a Divine now.
Interesting. It's
because they're just not used. Like all the other stuff in Sanctum is still, you are still incredibly rich if you're farming Sanctum. I just think that
I wasn't trying to imply that it was like bad.
Yeah, Ultimatum or Trial of Chaos just it's just Adorned, right? I know the Fates are, but what is 20 Divines even? If you get 1 Fate every run, I feel like judging anything like that, this league is just so hard to me, because everything is just like the number just has like 1 or in some cases even 2 zeros added, and it just like it sounds like a lot of the time, but it really also kind of isn't. I don't know. I
still think you're getting
I think for the average player,
always going to be good.
Lot. And comparative to previous patches, Ultimatum was like no money. Before last patch, when you farmed Ultimatum, you ended at run 7. You wouldn't even full clear because you would get better chances at Jaquanis if you ended at 7.
Yeah,
so
that's true. And that's mainly due to Adorned actually being used now again. And I think if there's no changes, Child of Sekhema's or Sanctum, it's always going to be a free money glitch basically. And also, once again, I think it's fun. I think Trial of Chaos is not fun. I like doing Sanctum. I hate doing Trial of Chaos.
Same. It is. I only do Trial of Chaos if I have like a true AFK build, because it is so fucking boring. I hate the escorts. I hate all of them. I hate every single room except for the one where you have to stand there killing the mobs on a timer. But even that one's boring, because at least in Sanctum, when you kill rares in that timed one, it reduces the timer of it. So that you get it done faster. But in Trial of Chaos, it is literally just set this timer for 90 seconds and then escort the slow ass statue, which like it doesn't ramp up the longer you're holding it. It's just always going at the sluggish pace. Yeah, there's no way like with skill and like the reason I like Sanctum is you can get better at Sanctum and you see that progress. So you go from like 30-minute runs to 25-minute runs, and now you're at 15-minute resets. Yeah, it's like feels so good. Ultimatum, you cap out so damn fast, and there's so much RNG with the rooms you get, and the modifiers are more annoying in Ultimatum than Sanctum to me.
Oh, well, I mean, Sanctum, you can actually improve your character by visiting the merchant, but in Ultimatum, there's nothing you can do to improve your character.
Good point.
Mean, even down to the basis of vases, right? You could improve your movement speed, improve your dodge roll distance, all that stuff. Ultimatum, it's literally just sit there. It's like, all right, which one of these weapons do I want to cut myself with? Like, how do I want to debilitate myself this time? Do I want to chop off my leg, or do I want to make it so my sword is more blunt? There's
almost
nothing
like
about it.
The Trial of Chaos.
Trial of Chaos.
I'm always going to be. I'm gonna always be. I'm gonna be excited to see how this meta is shaken up a little bit once we get the third trial. I think that might actually change up how we think about that a little bit, because maybe there's even some changes in that. I think changing anything about Sekhema's or Trial of Chaos is not really that far up on the list for GGG of things to do. So I wouldn't really expect any changes to that. So yeah, I think we'll see once we get a new trial how this shakes up a little bit.
I guess it's just a good thing to point out that like Ultimatum was pretty unpopular in my opinion. As someone who farmed a lot of Ultimatum in 0-1, in 0-2 and 0-3, it was never really worth farming. It was something you did like maybe at the start of the league to get a little bit of extra currency going, because it was like consistent guaranteed currency. But for what they've done this patch, like adding a single item of value to endgame bosses makes that farm just very rewarding to do. And if there's ever Olroth is a perfect example of it. Like the moment he got good loot table, splinters expedition players were originally like free in 0.1, and then Olroth got a good loot table with the lineage support gems and the flask, and suddenly there are several divines, to get a run. Yeah, GGG just like if a farm is dead, revisit the loot on the bosses, and that seems to help a lot.
I mean, I still think that agree with Rabbit, Sanctum is still going to be the money printer, but I do think now it's that Trial Chaos is an option now, since Adorn.
I think Chaos makes more currency. It's not hard to get Adorns.
It's like a 1
what
to 5%
unidentified
chance.
What is an unidentified Adorn selling for
like
versus
a mirror to 2? It's like mirror or 2 mirrors or something like that. But Last Flame is selling for 3. Right?
Yeah, but what's rare? Isn't last frame way more rare than?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You think so?
No. It is.
I think last frame is like one of the most insane rare items in the game.
The thing is, you have nothing in the middle between that. Adorned, that's the only thing. But with Sanctum, you also have your ATDs. Which can sell for thousands of divs. Consistency wise, probably the average player will get more from Sanctum from Against the Darkness.
Yeah, always.
I think Sanctum is always going to print more. It's just always going to print more for that reason. If you don't get Adorned, you're basically
only if
SOL.
you're doing Against the Darkness runs, though.
And
as
someone
the used to make money not farming.
No. Also, jewels and relics.
Yeah, jewels and relics.
Big moneymaker.
And then also you have to spend money to farm Adorned, whereas with Sanctum you don't have to spend money. Because
relics and jewels aren't as profit heavy as they were previous patches, in my experience.
I mean, no, they are 100% more profitable because of Adorned. Jewels are more profitable because of Adorned.
You mean the magic
I would say the average.
No, not just magic. Adorn can now do rare.
The rare jewels. Yeah,
they are. It is 100% way more profitable to do Sanctum. Adorn has made Sanctum more profitable than ever. And again,
maybe it is now, but I'm saying month 1 when I tried farming both, Sanctum was ass.
Week 1 Sanctum is always not as good. It always goes up over time.
Why?
because your need for jewels, like top tier jewels and stuff like that, is just not as high at the beginning with ATDs and all this stuff. It's just you're not really able to leverage it as well. Whereas at the beginning with things like soul cores and all the other drops from chaos, and also it's easier to do chaos, it's better. But overall, like a farmer talks about in one of his videos as well. He says that at the beginning of the league, chaos is one of the best things to farm, whereas it flip flops and it becomes one of the worst things to farm later on. But now with Adorned, it's a little bit different. But Sanctum always goes up in value over time. The jewels are just something that people don't really think about as much, and they don't optimize. And then as the league goes by, when they're trying to min-max their builds, the jewels become more and more important and more expensive.
I haven't played the main league in a while, and I haven't played Sanctum since like week 3, but in comparison, like in 0.3, I played Sanctum like out the gate. Like I was farming Sanctum almost immediately, and it was just like I made more currency than ever. And when I tried that this patch, it was like when I got my first Grand Spectrum Ruby, I was like, oh, what the fuck? This is not like this used to be like a whole build, and now it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Grand Spectrums are worth less, but at the end of the day, the ATDs they're worth a lot. They're
worth more for sure. And Grand Spectrums weren't a really consistent farm any. There were like 1 out of every 20 runs you would do would be a Grand Spectrum. They were not very consistent.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, again, you don't have to pay for Sanctum entries, but you do have to pay for Trial Master entries.
Yeah, you need 3. Yeah. You can do 1 Sanctum in 15 minutes, and then you can do 1 Ultimatum in 15 minutes, which is 1 Trial Master every 45 minutes. So,
yep,
that is definitely way less consistent. Last thing on the list, we have 3.28 confirmed for March 6th. This was actually a Jazzarus topic, but what do you guys think that means for patch 0.5? Personally, I think it doesn't mean anything bad. I think we are getting the exact same thing we got with 0.4 and 3.27 or whatever. I think like a lot of the speculation is the PoE 2 league going to be delayed or suffered because of this? I think the PoE 1 league is just going to get a shorter time frame again. I think it's going to be like a 6 to 9 week league again, and then PoE 2 is going to drop. Its patch. Like I don't think the PoE 1 or 6 to 8 week league, I don't think PoE 1's getting its full cycle again. I don't think it means we're waiting till like mid-May for the league. I think we're getting mid to late April.
Which I don't know what the fuss is about a little bit. We've had this topic of discussion before that people were like super mad about PoE 1 being like 6 weeks until PoE 2 league launches. I don't know what the big deal is about that. Because that's mostly the time that most people play PoE 1 and PoE 2 for the matter of fact play for anyway. The longevity of any PoE 1 or PoE 2 league is not that much longer than 6 to 9 weeks. And so I really didn't get what the big deal was about that. As someone who thinks that PoE 2 should take center stage now, I think I just care about GGG doing a lot of work on PoE 2 now. So I think it's fine. You saw what, like, all of us saw what happened with Vrashta. I know Vrashta is not a league or whatever. It was like an event type thing, but that didn't even survive a week. So I don't know what people are complaining about when it comes to like 6 to 9 weeks on PoE 1. And if you are that invested into PoE 1, you don't have to play PoE 2, I guess. It's I don't get it. I just care. What I care most about, I couldn't care less about how long like the thing is, because in the end I get to play whatever I want. But it's like I just care that the thing they actually release, whether it's PoE 1 or PoE 2, is just fleshed out, and then whatever the time is, and it also depends on the league, right? I really don't get what the big deal is about, like the time framing here.
I think that I can see it from a PoE 1 player perspective, like who, PoE 1 is their main game, or like they like it more than PoE 2, because at the end of the day, yes, you don't have to play, like you don't have to play Path of Exile 2 when it comes out, right? But it is like, you can think about it this way. When a league starts to lose players and the economy starts to get a little bit worse, you can feel it. You can feel the hype dying. You can feel the energy going down. And then like maybe you're like a person that likes to watch streamers. And then now all your favorite streamers are not streaming Path of Exile 1 anymore. They're streaming Path of Exile 2. So it's just like it does feel worse when that happens. Like objective, like when you're thinking about it, like from like a logical standpoint, it's like, oh yeah, just keep playing. Like, why do you care about the league happening, like the Path of Exile 2 league starting earlier? It doesn't affect your experience. You can keep playing it. It's not like whatever, but it's like all the third order effects that kind of happen around it that make it a little bit worse of an experience for somebody who is really excited about Path of Exile 1 and not as excited about Path of Exile 2. I think from a developer perspective and a development perspective, it makes a lot of sense because you want to spend more time on the game that you're currently working to build up. But from a player perspective, I do see that perspective where people are unhappy about it. Personally, I'm not a Path of Exile 1 first guy, so to me, it doesn't matter as much, but I can put myself in their shoes and see why they're unhappy about it.
It just depends to me, like, is the quality of the PoE 1 league suffering because of this schedule? And it's hard to answer that right now because everything just feels like it's suffering because both of the games exist at once, right? Like PoE 2 players feel like PoE 2 doesn't get enough love. PoE 1 players feel like the PoE 1's not getting enough love. So it's really hard to gauge how it should be and like if one is not getting enough attention that it should be. I think that's where most of the concerns come from is like, is PoE 1 getting half-assed content now because its release schedule is also being like almost rushed? And I don't think that's the case from GGG's end. I genuinely think they're trying to make it to where both games are getting 100% love from two teams, but we're just not there yet. I mean, I think I'm obviously like we do a PoE 2 podcast, not a PoE podcast, not a PoE 1 podcast, a PoE 2 podcast. So all of our stances are pretty clear here. I obviously would want a world where both games are getting the equal 2 months, but I don't think we're getting PoE 2 league delayed. Like, I feel like I see that sometimes being posted from PoE 2 players that they're worried we're getting ours pushed back to May and June. It's going to suffer. I don't think that's happening. I think it's going to be late April, mid-April.
It's the same as last league.
Yeah.
We had one month between 327
exactly
and 0.4. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it'll be that. Yeah. And I understand why some people on either side is upset. I feel like it's hard to complain. I feel like we're on the side that's eating good. So, we're the PoE, like PoE 2 is getting extra love, it feels like. And
We're the younger child,
Yeah,
the younger sibling.
Nice. But I would be really surprised if, because we've talked about the timeline before, we think 0.4 is like, or 0.5, 0.6, and then 0.7 is supposedly 1.0. They don't have wiggle room to like be pushing one league back a month and then now we got to push another league back a month. Like, I don't think PoE 2 is going to be suffering at all. Like, if the question is from a PoE 2 player's perspective, is PoE 2's development cycle going to be impacted? No, I think it is honestly, PoE 1.
And and I just hope that GGG sees that in the same way that like in this frame, my personal opinion, I do. I just hope that GGG realize that PoE 2 should not suffer when it comes to that, because it is the future. There is no reason to have PoE 2 if the GGG doesn't think it is what in 10 years most people will most likely, because otherwise there's no reason to do PoE 2. GGG must think that in 10 years it's gonna be PoE 2, right? Or PoE 3 at that stage. I don't know what their plan is, but it's just, and that doesn't mean that I dislike PoE 1 or that I want PoE 1 to die, but it's just they said they did that themselves, right? So it's we'll see. It's gonna be interesting times.
Yep. I mean, I'm fully on board that PoE 2 is the future. I think PoE 1 will always exist. It will always have its core audience, but the game that's going to thrive and do better and keep growing is PoE 2, whereas PoE 1 is probably going to retain that core audience and that's totally fine.
Yeah, don't do the Overwatch thing, please. Wait, Overwatch 2 just becomes Overwatch again. And I don't know what that would mean in in Path of Exile terms. It's just
Yeah, I mean, I agree to both, Phil. Yeah, it's just an awkward, like we talk about all the time. The GGG's in an awkward stage where they are hiring people actively right now. We are constantly seeing people like getting hired and stuff. So
Kitten Cat Noodle just got hired.
Yeah, as a lore person.
Yep, Kitten Cat Noodle just got hired and on the
narrative
GGG
team.
Is that someone from New Zealand or not?
No, she's a lore content creator. She does big lore videos.
Yeah, I don't know if
that's
from New
probably
Zealand or not.
Work from home. Then that's probably right.
No, they.
I think
everybody has to relocate if they're not already in New Zealand. I'm not sure if she's in New Zealand or not.
I thought about applying.
I want to move to New Zealand.
I thought about sending a YOLO application. I don't think I have enough.
The problem is I don't have a skill set.
I would relocate
just play the game.
Second. I would relocate. Yeah, but you have to relocate. Yeah, and I would relocate in a second.
I'm moving to Mordor right now. Right now. No, I have I have a big marketing background. I studied communication sciences as a bachelor's, and yeah, I think my strengths are talking.
It clicked off when Jazzarus disconnected. They lost interest long ago.
Dang
Probably. No, I'm gonna bring my CV in November. GGG, okay? I'm taking my CV with me in November.
What is CV? Resume? Is that like a resume?
Yeah, it's basically a resume.
Curriculum vitae, yeah. Resume.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we ready for Build of the Week, boys?
Sure.
Yes.
All right. Mine's not really like a build of the week per se. It's more of a, like, you know those swingy videos where he does like a big like league challenge type thing. This is one of those. And yeah, of course it's going to be a Thorns video. Shout out to GamerDad98. He killed Arbiter by not using any buttons. He made a reflect build and he went through the entire game killing everything he could using only reflect skills. And yeah, it was a fun little journey of his. It's not a build that anyone should go copy and follow, but you know, I love these kind of challenges. I think I just saw Blaze has started a hardcore challenge where he is trying to clear hardcore solo found with only Mace Strike. Obviously, these aren't necessarily like builds that you're showcasing, but they're you know, they're clearing the game with something that's fun, and I love these kind of challenges. So obviously, I'm the Reflect Thorns guy, and yeah. This was not something I would ever do. I would never put myself through this kind of pain of clearing the entire game just with Reflect. Because usually when you play Thorn skills, you use like some other form of like damaging skills or ways to amplify your damage with shock and stuff. But yeah, just shout out to GamerDad. Cool little challenge. One I would never do. I can't imagine how many in-game hours this took him. But yeah, it's cool.
Awesome. Yeah, no, this is I think I've heard people in my stream talk about this, and I was like, that sounds crazy. And it is crazy. I also heard there was like somebody who was doing hardcore solo self-found or hardcore with no gear challenge too. And
I saw that. I almost picked that build for this week.
I was like, how are you doing hardcore with no gear? That's insane. No armor. I think it's no armor, right? No armor.
I'm shitting myself right now. I'm playing hardcore trade and I'm playing Thorns. And I'm scared doing that in trade. So like hardcore solo self-found, no gear. Yeah. These people are nuts.
Indeed. Awesome. I guess
shout out to GamerDad. Not a traditional build, but cool little thing he did.
All right, Rabbit.
Yes, I have a build that is not ED Contagion. It is a Chaos build that is based around, for clear, it's ED Contagion, but at the same time, it's amazing because it uses Black Flame Covenant. It's using Ignite Magnitude, but converts that into Chaos damage with Black Flame. I can't believe that this is the first time I've actually seen a build that utilizes that. Clear, like I said, Clear is basically just ED Contagion. It's a very good version of ED Contagion. That is what it is. ED Contagion doesn't really need any improvement when it comes to Clear on maps, especially when I played it on the Lich Lowlife version. It's super, super fast now with the Tekrod's Gaze rune and everything. So ED Contagion, super good for Clear, even in endgame. Amazing now with the Vertex Mask and everything. It's just ED Contagion, that's it. But then, like I said, for bossing, he's using a Chronomancer, actually. Chronomancer, I would assume so. In his video, he says the main reason to use Chronomancer is the time stop spell, which is super, super nice. To then freeze the boss and apply enough incinerate stacks and then get that damage up and going. And as you've seen in the video, the single target damage is insanely nice, and he basically kills everything once in the time stop frame window. But also I see him using Blasphemy with Temporal Chains, and Chronomancer gets like a little bonus to that as well, that mobs get slowed even more with the slowing potency. And also I would assume he's also using the one where he gets cast speed and area of effect at the same time. So Chronomancer actually offers a lot for this one, and I think overall Chronomancer is kind of a little bit of an underrated Ascendancy. So extremely cool build. A thing about ED Contagion that is always mentioned when it comes to ED Contagion is always the single target damage. Always, like, Clear is no problem. It's super satisfying Clear. It's tanky as hell. It's amazing for Clear in maps. You can see on the screen right now. Clear is just always has been amazing, always for ED Contagion. But the problem that most people always said is single target damage. You apply energy, essence drain, and then you put your dark effigies on the ground, and that's basically your single target damage. This opens up like a whole new avenue when it comes to single target damage. Can you go to a single target kill again? Because this is like insane damage when it comes to that. And he uses scaling of Flammability magnitude, but mostly ignite magnitude, because that is then scaled into the chaos damage. And yeah, one of the coolest builds I have to say I've seen this league so far. Might be my soft spot
how
for
is there
ED
so
Contagion.
many debuffs? What is that?
Yeah.
No,
Wait,
let's
okay,
see.
so
So there's ignite,
There's shock,
there's shock, there's
Flammability, ignite, poison.
poison, temporal chains, ED, contagion, slow from the temporal chains,
Chronomancer.
despair, Chronomancer. Don't know what this one is.
That's
but
it.
Then he has flam.
Withered
yeah.
magnitude.
Withered magnitude is over
the
here.
end.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Though.
That's so cool.
So
That's cool.
yeah, it's amazing. And he's using like a megalomania. Of course, he's using a Prism of Belief, of course, for incinerate. I would argue, yeah, that's probably gonna take him over the edge. It's the drench debuff. Oh, okay. So he probably applies the
Thunderstorm.
He somehow gets drenched. Probably, most likely. It's an insanely cool build. If this exists in the future, if this exists in 0.5, this is definitely something I will look at, because this is just ED Contagion with much better single target damage.
I think
So,
I don't see.
I'll take
do you
it.
see this getting nerfed? I see
No.
this.
I think
That
it's kind of
seems good.
insane how this is the first time I've seen something like that, because I've tried everything with ED Contagion. I never thought about using Black Flame with Black Flame Covenant. So so just to be clear, he's not only using Black Flame Covenant, but he's also using the Ring Black Flame, which, if you don't know, and I didn't know, honestly, I completely forgot about this one. Enemies ignited by you take chaos damage instead of fire damage from ignite. So, and big ignite duration reduce, ignite magnitude. It's insane. I have no idea how this is the first time I've seen. And this is by, once again, it's going to be linked down below. He has 121 subscribers. Go to subscribe there. It was uploaded yesterday with 6,000 views so far. This is it's kind of insane to me that this is the first genius. I
seen
will
a lot of-
100% try this out.
I've seen a lot of Black Flame, like I've seen a lot of Incinerate builds like this using that technique with Black Flame in the ring. I just haven't seen it with Edicon.
Yeah,
Like I haven't seen that pair with Edicon.
Same. I mean, it makes sense that it hasn't really been paired in the past, because Incinerate got changed to be a lot better of a single target ability this league compared to
this
before.
league, that's true. That could be what gets tweaked a bit, but yeah, this is sick. Yeah, I hate
sick.
EDCon. I've been playing EDCon on one of my hardcore solo found characters, and yeah, it's just the boss damage is just so boring. It's just throw up your dots, throw down Dark Effigy, and yeah, boring.
He's in
this a
chat
lot
right
more.
now. Jin for speed.
Hey, good build.
Hey, shout out to
Amazing
Jin.
build. You made an ED Contagion lover love ED Contagion even more because I never thought about using Black Flame Covenant with Incinerate. I couldn't solve single target for like 3 leagues now on ED Contagion, and this is probably the best I've seen. It's amazing. Amazing. And Black Flame is like one of the most common uniques in the game too.
He's also using Ingenuity to buff the Black Flame ring.
Yep. Exactly.
Smirt. Very smirt.
Boom.
Well made, man.
Very nice build.
Yep.
Very, very nice build.
Awesome. Well, my build, I'm sorry, but I'm bringing it back to build that I've showcased before. I've never done this before, but the version of it right now is just, it's so good. We're bringing back the Hammer of the Gods, Hammerstorm Titan by my boy Circus-san, Circus Circle Games. Shout out to him. I originally showcased
Look at
this
those
build.
action bars.
I originally showcased this build like a couple weeks ago, but since then he has optimized it to a point where I would say it is a completely different build. Like before,
he wasn't
it
using
was
Bone Shatter before, was he?
he was not using Bone Shatter before. He was just using curses by himself. But right now he has optimized it to a point where he is using Bone Shatter to proc cast on a minion death linked to Spirit Wolves to cast the curses to be able to generate enough glory to basically
That's so
never
funny.
have to. He uses Bone Shatter for movement, which he used Trench Timber, which is kind of some new tech that people have discovered. I don't know who discovered it, but basically
That's not new. That's not new. Trench Timbre for movement speed with 'cause Trench Timbre has the fastest attack speed of any mace for like the longest time. So you've used
it's
it for
not
a
just
long
that
time
though.
for,
It's not just
Bone
that
Shatter
though.
tech.
There is a node on the tree where you get increases and decreases to minion attacks. Minion attack speed or something about minion attack speed, and like you can scale off of it. I forget what it is, but basically the more rage you have, the more attack speed you have because of Trench Timber.
Oh, using yeah, okay, that makes
So
sense.
now it takes it to set a whole new level in terms of how fast you can move with Trench Timber. But yeah, Trench Timber, Bone Shatter, using it to proc cast on minion death on wolves to be able to cast both I think it's Enfeeble and Elemental Weakness in order to get the glory required for the Hammer of the Gods. Really, really awesome. Really cool tech. I love this build so much, and Circus-on has completely turned it into a build that I would say is completely different from when I first showcased it, which is why I wanted to showcase it again. And for anybody who wants to check this build out and has questions about it, even though he is a Japanese streamer, he speaks English. So don't be afraid to hop onto his stream and say hi and just ask him questions about the build.
This is sick. Yeah, I was messing with cast on minion death with like a similar tech like that early on in the league, but like it didn't lead to anything like successful like to this level. Like this is definitely the best interaction I've seen using that technique to just fuel this shit. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I know farmers build the Timu Temporalis also uses cast on minion death tech, which is really cool. So Cast on Minion Death definitely has a lot of applications. Uncle Jay also did something with Cast on Minion Death too to make a 0-button auto bomber. It's I think there's a lot to take a look at there to potentially use it as like if they do end up doing something like Cast on Crit, maybe Cast on Minion Death might be another option in the future. Who knows?
Cast on Minion Death is it's very underrated. I think just be like, you just with the goofing around with I've done it in the patch. That's like one of those ones that's like, oh, this does work. It's just everything else, it just gets outshined. But this is like the best interaction I've seen of using like this kind of engine. Like, this is sick. But you're right, it's a completely different build. It is a completely different build. You're not showcasing the same build you showcased a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it seems, it looks and feels and everything like I made a version of this, and it pales in comparison to this one.
This is also another one that, like, I talk about this all the time. This shows an example of a time where if you you don't reroll off of a build, you really keep pushing it to min-max it. You never know where it's gonna fucking end up. Because I can almost guarantee he did not expect this 2 weeks ago. Right?
No.
Like when you this is. Because if that was the case, you would have done this when you were playing the build, right? So it's like, it just shows when you commit to a build. Like Rabbit says all the time, what's under the surface, right? Like what has not been discovered that can completely change an entire archetype, and who knows where this could lead to like other applications. Because that Trench Timbre tech is sick. Like using I didn't think about using that rage tech. That is sick. So that can be applied to a lot of other builds, but like not just ignoring the generation of the glory.
Yeah. I think
sick.
Prada uses his tech on his Whirling Assault Smith of Kataba, which is also a really cool build that you guys should check out. Very cool as well. Awesome. I mean, Jazz had a build, but I don't.
I didn't watch it, so.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I mean, I watched some of it, right? Because actually, the person who built it also. So, quick little shout out, right? Something I've started doing is I have a channel in my Discord called, BOTW, Build of the Week suggestions or submissions. So people have been putting some of those in there for me to take a look at, and I think we should all take a look at that channel if we can and have the chance to. But this is a build that Jazzarus was suggesting, which is a melee minion hybrid shaman build. I didn't look too deeply into like how exactly it worked, because for me it just didn't pop as much to me and wasn't interesting. So would have loved to have Jazzarus to come here and explain it. But if from what I can tell, it's kind of like a minion build with like mace, using Sunder, using Leap Slam, all these kind of like melee abilities, whereas his minions are still doing some decent damage and some decent clear. So a nice little hybrid build is where I think this build is. So if you're looking to play some sort of minion build but don't want to fully commit into it, this could be a cool alternative and a cool option.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because I don't want to spoil myself. I like to be excited on the podcast, so I was hoping Jazzarus would explain it. Yeah, I have no idea. Can't comment on it. It looks like there's a bunch of minions, though, and it looks like he's leap slamming around. So It does look like a minion melee build, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, sorry, sir, that we weren't able to fully showcase your build because Jazzarus was gone. And it was the same thing for me. I saw Jazzarus uploading it, so I didn't want to like fully spoil myself. So I didn't really look deeply into it, but yeah.
What's his name? What's his channel?
Blue Moon Fuzz.
A proper shout out.
Blue Moon Fuzz.
Blue Moon Fuzz.
I'll definitely still link it in the description. So if you guys want to explore it a little bit more and like the idea, feel free to go watch it.
Cool. Well, I had been I had been playing Rust this last weekend because there was a big Rust patch, and like I'm like kind of in that point where I'm like entering the off season, but I guess I had missed Prada doing that Trench Timbre Rage tech. Now I want to do a new build using that. There's got to be something fun out there. I've used Trench Timbre, and so maybe I can use it in my supporting Fire Tactician build. Find a way to get better mobility on that. That's cool tech, man.
Indeed.
That was a sick build. Well, it was a fun episode, guys. We will definitely just get Jazzarus back on a different episode. Like that's just the big L. Unfortunately, his graphics card, I guess his GPU is just on the fritz. So we will definitely get him back out. But shout out to Jazzarus. His stuff will be linked down below. I know he streams all the time. He makes guides. He's also a PoE 1 creator, I believe. I know he plays PoE 1. I don't know if he makes content for PoE 1, but he's probably going to be playing 3.28, whatever's next. So just give Jazzarus a follow and follow his content. Yeah. Any final thoughts, guys, before we wrap up?
A fun episode as always. Too bad Jazzarus couldn't too bad his computer blew up. And again, hopefully we can have him back again soon. As always, twitch.tv/MisoXhero, YouTube/MisoXhero. And again, if you have builds of the week, please come onto my Discord. The Discord is linked in the description for YouTube. On Twitch, you can just find it down in the About Me section or type in !Discord. Go and submit your builds of the week there. Normally, we do our own manual sifting for builds, but I think it would be cool to get you guys to submit your own builds. Usually our builds, we like to have like a good video and a good guide. So if your build doesn't have like a video guide and like a written, it doesn't have to have a written guide, but at least a video guide, probably not going to take a look at it. But if you do want to put, if you want to get featured, you do want to let us take a look at it, make a nice little video guide, and we'll take a look at the build, and maybe we could feature your build onto the week build of the week section.
Yeah, I can't believe how many times I've not showcased the build of the week because it didn't have enough in-game footage showcasing maps, didn't have enough in-game footage showcasing bosses, or it didn't have any in-game footage at all. So if you don't have any gameplay of your build, yeah, we just can't showcase.
Also, no acceleration shrines.
No acceleration
and gloom shrines.
And no gloom shrines for sure, yeah.
Forbidden. No
But yes,
acceleration shrines, okay?
Yeah, it's hard to showcase builds when it's just you talking in the hideout, right? So,
Exactly.
for sure.
Rabbit.
Oh, me? I'm just looking at my second screen right now because 40 minutes. In 40 minutes, we're gonna get Diablo 2 Resurrected 2.0.
Hopefully.
No, also I stream Path of Exile 2 on Twitch. Most of the time for the coming few weeks, I'm probably gonna stream some other games because I don't want to burn myself out too much, because there's going to be a lot of PoE 2 to be had in the future, and I'm a PoE 2 focused content creator. But yeah, I think I'm going to play the new Fellowship update that's coming in 8 days. I'm super hyped for that one. If there's actually anything for Diablo 2 Resurrected, that's going to be interesting to see. A lot of people on my stream always ask me to stream Diablo 2 because I talk about it so much. So that's going to be amazing to see. And yeah, otherwise I stream every day. Come say hi. That's it. 40 minutes until
Rabbit. And
yes, exactly.
I'll for the variety stuff as well. At some point, I'm gonna be done with hardcore. We'll probably do some variety together. Maybe we'll get Prada on.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get Law Call on. You know, it'll be a good time.
Variety.
Yeah. Sick. Yeah. I'm obviously already starting to enter the off season. So and I haven't been posting PoE videos for a while. Kitty cat. I'm gonna start posting. I'm gonna try to get in the habit of posting more stuff, and I do want to stream some stuff during the off season. There's just a lot of fun games to play out there, but I am trying to. I'm working on It's my first attempt at a Schwingy style video. I am playing hardcore with Thorns, and I'm going to try and do one of his narrative, like this is the beginning of the journey, and this is when I got to Arbiter type video. So I have one of those in the works, but yeah. We'll see what happens before 0.5, but you can just keep expecting us every week. Next week, we have Arrow on, I believe. Yes, next week is Arrow, so stay tuned for that. We will definitely be getting Jazzarus back on. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you next week. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.